Cercal, Portugal, May 2020. Witness Notes 27. After you have read these introductory paragraphs once, you can skip to the new, old content here. If you are listening, then the timestamp is around the 2-minute 45-second mark. Introduction. The word settle to me carries connotations I am keen to avoid. I have never felt settled, or perhaps I cannot recall a time I felt settled. I do not feel settled now, writing this, and I've lived in the same house for 3.5 years. Without even discussing the obvious issues of colonisation, I just don't feel like I could or should settle. Better to keep my constituent parts shook up, agitated perhaps, rather than separating stagnant. Instead, I feel as though I have been travelling for years, maybe because I have not lived in my home nation of Scotland for 8.5 years. Perhaps because I know I won't stay here forever, or maybe because I carry that concept of home in a way which differs from many. More precisely, I still think of myself as a slow traveller, globally feral. Recently, I've been revisiting places through the photographs and words I recorded when my feet crossed their soil. This is a way of reminding myself of where I have been, not just in space and time, but in mind too. It is a wonderful thing to come out of below and rediscover myself through words I crafted, through the lens of a camera, when memory has wandered in the fog for too long. Thank you, past me. When I first started sharing letters with the world in this fashion 6 or more years ago, I usually began them with a vignette of where I was, a sort of travel diary mixed with nature observation, locking in the setting for the reader before I spoke of other things, and by so doing ensuring that place fed into the whole. It was a useful device for a reader and myself both, but as these letters were sent to so few readers, and now languish archived behind a paywall, I thought it a shame not to share these snippets again. As such, I am going to share a short series of these sketches accompanied by a photograph from that time, sent to you in date order, beginning with the second eldest. I shall include the above paragraphs in each of the letters in this series, but I shall also include a link at the very start so you can skip ahead once you are familiar with the above words. If you are listening and similarly want to skip, then the timestamp you want to navigate to will be in the same place. Taken without these paragraphs, each is a short read, and I hope you enjoy them. Cercal, Portugal, May 2020. The storks have not reared any young. This is not for a lack of trying. Recently we went for a drive out along the coast and back, passing several stork nests with small storklings poking out of the top. Interestingly, the pair are still mating and still return to guard their nest, especially at lunchtime, when the skies fill with silent, gliding competitors, and the sound of the pair clattering an oral defence, beaks moving swiftly, wings arranged and bodies bent. The landscape's coat of flowers has been changed several times, the principal base colour moving from a rich, dark green through lighter shades to the greenish-brown she currently wears. I'm determined to start to learn all of these new friends. I'm doing well with birds, having several new-to-me species, Iberian grey shrike, Montagu's harrier, Bonelli's eagle today at lunchtime, azure-winged magpie, black-winged kite. Learning their names first in French and then their Linnaean classification, then English, sometimes also Portuguese. Their habits, why they are here. Next I should add the flowers. The richness of this area, the sheer variety and abundance, is something I doubt I will ever take for granted. Yes, there are relatively dead areas, as in most places, in this case the plantations of eucalyptus, but, on the whole, these are more than made up for by the other places. Our walks always invariably show something new. Here a rich stand of wild apple mint, there feral nasturtium, showing where a garden once was tended. Pausing and looking closely always brings rewards. Insect life flourishes. It is the bedrock of a food pyramid stretching high above me. All those tiny, tiny thunderflies, Frips, or hyperlocally from the Isle of Axholme, Lincolnshire, England, men of root. all those minute spiderlings on silken threads, these are all snatched up and eaten in their millions. Then the eaters are eaten, and so on and so forth. I could and want to write reams about the nature here, and I know I've barely scratched the surface. Sometimes I wish I had more hours in a day, but I have my notes and photographs and memory, and perhaps one day I'll have time to write something to do the subject justice. Finally, if you can afford to, there are currently 2 direct ways to support my work here. The first is to take out a paid subscription. The second way to support me here is to use my Ko-fi button link to send a tip of any amount. If you enjoyed this letter and wish to share it with others, please do so. I love it when someone shares my work. I also love it when you comment on a piece. Really, really love it. Thank you. Finally, many thanks for reading. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who does.